Hello everyone, we are back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Time to get back to investigating, because this is quite the serious crime we're dealing with here. Especially since we have personal stakes in this to an extent. Inspector Gregson. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what? Half a year since I got out of the clink. That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say you managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did? Yep, and ever since then he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half his cases he's working on. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on are, apparently. It's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all, and look where that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I heard him say as much. I'll take my hat off to that fella, were his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He said something else to me and all. That I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people what are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. Gregson was a real nice guy at the core. He might have done some questionable things, especially in case 1-5, but I don't know. I think at the core he was a good guy, and I'm really sad to see that he's dead, even though we haven't seen his corpse yet. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some cove called Hewbone. Hewboone. Hewboone? It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right, all the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation, but there's so little here, no one knows what to do with themselves. Yeah. I do wonder. Yes, Mrs. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hewboone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hint at it. Should really investigate this place in detail. No, I get it, like that billboard in the back or whatever. I see that's where the poor inspector was found over there. Looks like it was just crumpled up on the floor. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. And the gun used in there on the floor. It's the Reaper's in it. No denying that. What, really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I didn't know what to do with myself when he stared at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I didn't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street settlers just outside who heard the gunshot. I assume they're gonna get called as witnesses. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down in the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak of those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads of the yard will just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Yeah. Let's see. What? Oh, there's probably stuff we can present now I think about it. Gina, what do you make of this? What is that, evidence? Work something out with what happened, have you? No, not exactly. I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet. Well, I swear I'm gonna get the person what did this to the boss. Yeah, I know. Gina, what do you make of this? Nope. I'm just presenting stuff until I get something that lands. Gina, what do you... Nope, she still doesn't have anything on this either. Just skipping through all this dialogue because it's not getting much help with it. Or not getting much luck with any of it. Maybe we need to go back and see... Okay, let's just do a quick comb over and make sure that there isn't any random stuff that I missed. Window... Oh, alright, I didn't check the outline. So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. It would probably be under Dr. Sife's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Probably bleeding from the stomach, it would look like. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but... Oh, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Susato-san is so strong, though. She's taken this far better than I am. That everything? I think that's everything we have to examine here. Well, Sholmes has already left. There's nothing we can talk to Gina about. Shit. Maybe we should... Sholmes is sweet, maybe? Maybe Sholmes here? Nope. There's gotta be something here. I knew it. You've made good time. Took an express train back to London. Oh, is it Kazuma? Because they said that Kazuma had left London or something. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Yep, I knew it. Ugh. One sec, I need to get a drink of water. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. Kazuma-sama! I need to remember the voice I use for Kazuma. Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news. About the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Von Zykes could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Von Zykes for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Like you need to introduce us. Kazuma. Goddamn. This man is so cool looking, though. I love his new outfit. And also the fact that he has a regular, like, I don't even know what type of sword would you call that? Not a rapier. It has, like, it looks like a rapier, but would it just be like a swashbuckler or just a regular old, like, I don't know. I need to look up the name for that, actually. And then he has, obviously, a katana. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Yeah. Leading the prosecution. Saw that coming. Wait. What? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? Oh, man. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey, and now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Von Zykes firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least, until now. No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Prosecutor Asogi. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. No doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. Yeah, and he also has Karama back, which means that we can't do our thing. We can't do the thing where we smugly lean against the sword anymore. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm trying to give him just like a regular-ish voice that's kind of stoic. Because I think that's what I used for him back in the first game, but god, it's been so long since I've had to voice him. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. Seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Migatoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks.
So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution.
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months.
Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. It's certainly going to be interesting having these two go head-to-head. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Von Zykes?
That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene.
Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask someone higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
Certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No, Gregson had his gun on his person.
What about Lord Von Zykes?
He claims it's currently not in his possession.
What?
According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
Yeah, it's suspicious in the fact that someone else could have stolen it from him. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's, is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not.
Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Von Zykes. Alright. Alright. We're speaking to you next. Get over here.
I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright now.
Has your memory completely returned?
Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do.
Right. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me. But there's something that won't return to the way it was before.
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
Wow. We're done here, I guess. Doesn't look like we're gonna glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart.
Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery.
Oh, we're not gonna be in the public gallery. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Kazuma? Yep.
Before you go, Ryunosuke.
Oh, what is it, Kazuma?
I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
Oh!
Which is, I actually have a favor to ask. Which is, this trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel.
Why? What's all this about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Von Zykes would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
Who is... Oh my god. That's Lord Von Zykes and Inspector Gregson.
And that must be his brother on the other side. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it.
And who's the third person?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean?
Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it.
Wow. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma?
Don't have time to dally. Let's head straight to the prison again. Lord Von Zykes is still reading that letter.
We've been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. But I heard you talking shit, so I'm coming over. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd heard that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no.
We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is.
It's going to be Kazuma Asogi.
Asogi?
That made the color drain from his face. Not that there was much to begin with.
Well then. Seems I'm gonna have to engage in conversation with you again after all. "10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court.
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve? Let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that?
Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese.
Right, your hatred of all that. of all us Japanese. The Nipponese Bane.
I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard.
And that was Genshin Asogi?
Exactly.
So his partner was actually the mass murderer and ended up killing him.
I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of a right prevailing over Ron.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted in Nasogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the prosecution of the Professor Case Inquiry, Lord Mael Stronhart.
Wait, what? Lord Stronhart?
He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Ah!
And of all things, as a lawyer.
Felt your animosity for the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese.
I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it.
And I can understand why, now I know the history.
But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life. To Kazuma Sogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow.
Huh.
Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy.
Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean.
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh!
The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place.
Last I checked, he did it for the sake of Gina, right? Sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard. Oh, and now his theme's playing.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself. By uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity.
The professor?
If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made.
What sort of approach?
After my brother's life has taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my! 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising?
Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death.
So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life.
I don't have confidence in anyone.
Oh.
Well then. And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I've no doubt he thought of me only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London.
Not true. What really went on between Lord Von Sykes and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? Your gun. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene.
Ah yes, that's not mine.
Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is.
What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true.
When did you lose it then?
That I don't know.
Oh.
I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps.
Dude would rather kick ass than bring a gun to a sword fight. You have something in common with Lord Von Sykes after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it.
Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese.
Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Alright. Next big thing. Let's present this, shall we? Lord Von Sykes, we came by this old photograph.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost.
Is the man on the left there? Sorry, I had to let the feline into the room.
Yes, that's my brother, Clint.
Alright. Had a feeling it was him. It had to be, really. I mean, no one else would look that familiar. Apparently this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that?
Respect? That's nonsense.
No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less.
Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past, I thank you.
Feels as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There's a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle. An insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey. Yeah. Maybe we can get to know more about him.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Holy shit. He's calling us something besides my learned friend or Nipponese. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name.
I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police. the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in.
What's that?
That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth.
Lord Von Zykes.
From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese who has absolute integrity as a lawyer.
Wow.
There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother Clint and Genshin Asogi.
The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. So it's basically a coin flip for him on which one I could be. Or I as in Ryunosuke.
When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me.
You mean this photograph?
Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe.
I'm so sorry.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
Nah. Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
Then my life is in your hands.
I was not expect. Man, this entire case has just been an entire thing of not expecting stuff. For Lord Von Zykes. That must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey against my old friend Kazuma. Oh man. To be continued. God, this is so good. This entire game is just, chef's kiss. Dun dun la. Let's just go right into it, shall we? November 2nd, 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Is that old familiar feeling again? The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air today here, isn't there? I suppose... Yes, I think so. Also, nice of you to change your clothes for the trial, Mrs. Sato. Can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. You're not wrong. You could not get a more menacing-looking defendant if you tried.
A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary.
What do you mean?
I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected.
What? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. Oh, fuck, is this a closed court? A closed court? Oh, shit, it is.
Good morning, my dear fellows.
Ah, Sholmes. A shame we didn't get to see you in either of your dyed hairs in this outfit, but hey, you look great as always. Mr. Sholmes.
Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree.
To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem.
Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
Well, I definitely say that Sholmes bounced back quickly from being pissed off and depressed that Gregson was dead. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes.
And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And are you? I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime than our capital.
These two are exact opposites.
And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point to which I would readily commend you.
What an honor, and that would be...
Your eye for a good lawyer, sir.
Mr. Sholmes.
After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind. My own.
What are you trying to say?
I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper.
Sorry to barge in. Oh, shit. What is that armband on Gina? That's new. But... Did I actually... Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Oh. Makes sense. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Which one? I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your study over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. There's a lot of people at this trial. Poor Gina. Odo. Oh, yes, Gina. Why do you agree to this, eh? Why do you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him. What killed the boss? I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe it. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out that it was him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Damn. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Eh?
At least that may be some solace to the deceased.
Damn. God damn this case. We haven't even started the trial and already. Please, Odo. You whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate you feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've got to find who done this and make this wretch pay.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will now be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Alright then, here we go.
I swear, Gino, we'll get him. Whoever did this, they will pay. It's time, Miss Naruhodo. Lord Van Zykes. Alright. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murder. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all those dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. And this isn't even the last case, right? What the shit is gonna happen here? 9:20 a.m. Well, no matter what happens here, we're gonna have to find out in the next episode. Oh man, I don't want to end it here, but God, I can't go for longer. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.